Hey everyone, Percival Bricks here, and welcome back to another LEGO New York City update. It's been a long time since I've done an update, and we've built so many roads, and our New York is like 30 feet long. There's tons of new buildings, so we have a lot to cover in this video. I've gotten a lot of comments recently asking for a full city update. I've done updates through like short videos, but a big update on just everything I've done in the past couple months is definitely needed, so let's get right to it. Really good. So if you haven't seen the city recently, like I said, it's 30 feet long. It's like over 10 feet wide. This thing is gigantic. There's so much we've done in the past couple months that it's honestly like overwhelming to know where to start. So I think we're just gonna start down this side of New York, and then we'll work our way back up the other side, and we should be able to cover all of the new changes. If you don't remember, my New York used to be about this long, but like maybe 4 feet wide, but now it's so much bigger. So that gives us a lot of room to expand buildings and for new things we just wouldn't have had room for before. And one of those things is actually right here. This is gonna be Ellis Island. So we've always had a Statue of Liberty, but I did think it would be cool to do Ellis Island this time around. So we'll have this here, we'll have Roosevelt Island down one side. We're gonna have a lot more bridges than we've ever had. So that's the cool part about expanding the city, is you just get more room for things that you just couldn't have done before. Here's the beautiful Statue of Liberty. I get comments about this every single day. Like, where'd you get it? Where'd you get it? It was made by Maxi Figures. So if you really want one, go reach out. So that's where that's from. Moving down this side of the city here, the first thing I wanted to cover was the Flatiron Building. So the Flatiron Building is really close to being done. I just have to finish the very top section and part of the ground floor and put all the lights inside. I've gotten comments saying it's way too big, that it's like out of proportion with my city. And you're right. I just think it's one of the most iconic New York buildings. And before I had it the size of like a modular building, maybe a little bigger. But this time around, I wanted to do a really big, legit looking version. And I think when you look at the Flatiron Building, from the front, and especially from like low angles, it does look a lot like the real building. The proportions are there, and it's just so much more detailed than my last version. It is really big. If you look at the ceiling height of this room, it's about 5 feet from the city where the roads are to the very top of the ceiling. So things like the One World Trade Center, like the spire of the building goes into the ceiling. The Empire State Building can't be taller. I can't really do any of these buildings as tall as they should be. So I'm just trying to do them the way I want to do them, and not everything's going to be perfectly in scale, but I think that's okay. I haven't talked a lot about the custom road, but I actually just finished putting it almost everywhere around the city where it's going to be. Each one of these road plates has tons of Lego in it. It uses the Lego road plate set, but also a bunch of additional pieces so you can have a bigger sidewalk. But the advantage of spending all this money to make these roads that are way bigger than our old ones is that we can do unique things with them. So looking at the Flatiron Building here, you can see like one of the ways we're able to incorporate these roads. These angled roads, I think, add so much to buildings like the Flatiron, and you'll see as we go down, we also did a similar thing on Times Square. These roads are everywhere in the city. They're a lot wider. We're gonna be able to fit so many cars on here, and you'll notice the roads are completely bare. I haven't placed any cars anywhere. I was waiting until I put all the roads down, and I'll do several videos just placing cars around the city. I'm kind of worried because in my last iteration of this city, it was very packed with cars, but because we have so much more room here, I think I'm gonna just make so many custom cars. Hopefully I'll make more police cars, taxis, fire engines, that kind of thing. The roads are a big part of our city coming together, and now that it's a lot more filled in, we can actually see where all the buildings are gonna go and map out where locations are gonna be in the city. So that was the first step with this new layout, is just filling it out with the roads. And moving down to here, we have a new building that I worked on. And I actually just got bored one day and made this out of spare parts. It's not based off any real building, but I had this building that I needed to put back in the city as like a mini corner building. And you'll notice it uses the deli set from Across the Spider-Verse. And then I built this kind of classic brownstone out of tan on top. I needed something else to attach as a corner. So I was able to build this just out of pieces I got from the pick-a-brick wall. And you can see some old Harry Potter stuff. And right next to it, this is gonna be our Hell's Kitchen area. So this is actually Nelson and Murdoch Law Office from Daredevil, and I'm really happy with it. This is one I've had for a while, but I had to adjust it and rebuild this building next to it for it to fit into this block here. I like the idea of having Hell's Kitchen here because we can have the law office, we can have Josie's bar, we can have Fogwell's gym, and I'll probably do other locations from Daredevil in this section. Next to that is Times Square, which you've probably seen in some of my short videos. I'm able to actually change out this billboard to say whatever I want on it. Kind of like city updates, taglines on here, or things from movies. So right now it has kind of a Spider-Man one going. I really like that Times Square is a lot more functional than my last one. It's awesome to have this diagonal road that cuts through the city here. I just love the look of it. I think it looks a lot more like Times Square. I did these trans clear red bleachers here. Those were a lot smaller before, but I love with them being clear like that. I'm planning to like light them up. I think it's gonna be pretty sweet. This is one of the only areas in the city where I've started to actually add in like people and details. So I have like mascot characters doing random things. I have homeless people asking for spare studs in this area, but I'm always trying to add details from, you know, real life. And so that's something I've started doing in Times Square. Hopefully the whole city will look like this eventually, where it's just like packed with minifigs. This right here is something that I've been working on for a little bit, and I still have some pieces on the way so I can actually get it going. But I'm planning on doing an elevated train. So this is just the Spider-Man train set with like Doc Ock based off Spider-Man 2. And I've got 4 of these right here. And the plan is to make an elevated train that starts here and goes clear across the city this whole way. So to do that, again, we had to build some special roads that were a slightly different size than all the roads in the rest of the city. But this is kind of the base design of what it's going to look like, with the track being raised up above the streets. But I think it's going to be really cool to have something functional in this area, in this part of the city, going back and forth. And hopefully when those pieces get here from Lego any day now, I'll probably build that in like one whole day and do a TikTok on it. But yeah, so hopefully next city update, this will be fully together and functional. Now looking down this way, you can see another thing we were able to do with these roads, and that was make Columbus Circle. So in my old city, I had a Columbus Circle, but it was so small. But I thought it was really cool to have the chance to do a legit Columbus Circle. And there were a lot of parts that went into that, but I do think it looks like the real thing. And having it on the corner of Central Park, just like it is in New York City, was really cool to be able to do. I did get some comments being like, well, it's actually a hexagon. And I'm like, I know, like it is. But try building a circle in Lego. Like seriously, try it out, because it sucks and it's really hard to do. And that's about as close as we're going to get. So I'm happy with it. I think it's pretty sweet. But yeah, Columbus Circle, another real life location. Now I want to take a second and talk about Central Park. It's not fully together. Obviously, there's a lot more to do with Central Park to make it look like the real place. But one of the things I did recently was build a functional carousel that looks like the Central Park carousel. You just kind of turn the top here and they can go in a circle, which I think is pretty cool that it's functional. Again, I want to make my city a lot more lively this time around. So that was something I knew I wanted to do. Because my city is like a Marvel New York, I'll probably have some kind of Punisher reference there. If you know, you know. Wait. I've had Central Park through like all 3 iterations of my city. And there's one problem with it, and I think I've solved it this time around. The issue is I changed my city for different seasons. You've probably seen my city throughout summer, fall, winter, spring, and seen the leaves of the trees throughout the city change color. That's fine when it's just like a few trees all around the city, but for Central Park, that has always been a big problem. I've originally did it where I had green base plates everywhere and trees on top of that, but then I get to winter specifically, and I change out the leaves of the trees to be white, but then you still have the ground as being green. That's a problem because it just doesn't look like winter when the ground is green. I've never been able to just build Central Park on top of base plates without having like a whole second Central Park to replace it with for the winter season. My solution is this, fake grass. This is kind of like what people use in miniature like train models. I think this is the solution to my problem, because now I can build all my Central Park locations and have them just kind of be sitting on top of this, not be studded down, move everything off the top of here, put down a new base color, and then change out the leaves and then put everything back. I think it's a good solution. There's a lot more I could do with it. And I understand people are instantly gonna be like, well, it's not Lego, like just build it all out of base plates. If you look at Lego theme parks, like if you look at Miniland New York in Legoland, for Central Park, they use real grass. Like it's straight up real grass, and like around the Statue of Liberty, they have actual water. They don't even do brick-built streets like we have here. They do like these concrete streets that look like real city streets. So really the only things that are Lego there are the buildings and cars and people they have around. Or like Lego City commercials growing up, right? They always have like actual water they're putting the boats in. So I think it's cool to have a mix of something that looks more realistic with all my Lego here. So that's the plan for Central Park. I understand a lot of people might not like it, but hopefully as they add more to it and you can see it be integrated with more Lego things, Central Park will start to come to life. One of the things I'm working on is just like the transition from the street to Central Park, where you have to have it kind of step down, have the fence that goes all around Central Park. I have, of course, like trees all around. I'm gonna have benches, and this is pretty cool. I printed these tile pieces so I can have a functional bike lane throughout the city. So I did those in sand green because that's what they have in New York. So it was really cool to do that because I didn't have room to do a full bike lane anywhere in the city, but I thought because I had a little extra room around Central Park, that'd be like the best place to do it. So with this new city, I actually have these holes right in the middle of the table where I can pop in and actually work on stuff. And that does kind of cut a big hole in the middle of Central Park, but I think it's necessary to be able to actually get into the city and work on these kind of things. But what I wanted to show is my Department of Damage Control building. This is obviously a work in progress, but I have Spider-Man and Hulk fighting, breaking out of the building, and that's actually gonna go right here in Billionaires Row. I thought that'd be cool to show. I'm gonna do more on the DODC building. I know people are really excited about it. There's obviously gonna be other really tall skyscrapers in this area, and I can't wait to work on them. This whole surrounding area should come together fairly quickly because I am planning on doing a lot of these buildings relatively soon. One of the other things I think is gonna be cool is we're gonna have like a tram that goes in the streets here. That's another thing about being able to modify the streets any way you want, is we're able to incorporate this track here, and I'll have some kind of like train thing going around. Comment any ideas on that. There's mainly subways and elevated trains in New York. There's not a lot of like San Francisco type trolleys or anything, but just because I have so much room with these roads, I thought it'd be cool to do something different. With this train going around, I think it's a lot of cool opportunity to do like Christmas stuff. I have tons of like Christmas trains and I never have a place to put them. So having an actual like loop train somewhere in the city, I think is gonna be awesome. As you can see, it's actually 9-volt track. So we'll have I think they call it like a transformer hooked up to this, be able to just turn it on and have it running whenever we want. I don't think I want to use this train specifically though. If you have any ideas for how we can do the train, comment and let me know. While we're here, I'll point out my Plaza Hotel, which I will be bringing to Brick Slopes along with the Empire State Building, Chrysler Building. But I really like where it's positioned at that corner of Central Park, because it is pretty much exactly where the Plaza Hotel is in real life. And now that we're on the other side of the city, this is actually where the elevated train will be going to. So if you look down this way, it's gonna be going quite a ways past Rockefeller Center, past Billionaires Row, all the way to this side of the city. And again, I think it's gonna be really awesome to have something like cutting through the whole city that's moving, and I think will just add a lot of life to the city. Right next to it here is another moving thing that I'm working on, and I don't really have anything to show for it yet, but it's going to be Queensboro Bridge cutting in at an angle into the city, along with the Roosevelt Island tram. So I have the Roosevelt Island tram built. You might have seen a video I did on it. And I have parts on the way to make a functioning tram that's able to go back and forth throughout this whole area. A functioning Roosevelt Island tram is gonna be really cool. Hopefully I can pull it off, but stay tuned for updates on that. Roosevelt Island will probably go somewhere in this water section here. Spoilers for Spider-Man Brand New Day. That's where the ending fight scene in the prison takes place. I'll have a bigger Roosevelt Island that has like supports where the bridge goes in, and I'll try to recreate that whole prison fight scene from the end of the movie in this location. Easily could have just done a plain river all along here, but I want to have like structures and things going on all throughout, and that's one I can't wait to do, and I'll hopefully get started on very soon. I wanted to pop into the middle of the city here to talk about what's going to be going on both sides of me here. So you'll notice we have our old MetLife building. I scrapped Grand Central Station. I'm going to be building a way bigger Grand Central Station in this area. But the idea will be you'll be able to pop up in here and kind of see Grand Central cut in half. So you'll be able to look inside and see a full interior of Grand Central Station with trains and subway cars going underneath it. It's going to be gigantic. There's gonna be cars and roads going all around Grand Central. It's gonna be really big. To the left of me here is Rockefeller Center. This is really going to come to life during Christmas time. You can see I have a bit of the ice skating rink so far. This is where the iconic Christmas tree at 30 Rock will go. So comment any ideas what to do in Rockefeller Center. But I really like this better than my last layout because I think it's gonna be awesome to just be able to pop up in here and see it all so clearly, because I think it makes it feel like you're actually like in the location. Now I'm back on the side of the table, and again, this is where our river is going to be. So we will have the United Nations headquarters right on the river, just like in real life, which I think is gonna be really cool. I like the idea of having different like boat docks and like cargo loading stations all along the river. This here is something that might look familiar to you if you're a Lego Spider-Man fan. This is 2 of those Spider-Man bridge battle sets put back to back. And I've wanted to put this somewhere. I never thought it really fit in with my city, and to be honest, like, it doesn't really. The road is black and it's a lot smaller than everything else here, but I love the idea of incorporating the set into my city. It's kind of nostalgic for me. It came out like 2016, but I still think it's one of the best Spider-Man sets ever, and I'm super happy to have it. All right, now I am back in the middle of the city. It's in the middle of the table towards the front, but behind me here is gonna be a very iconic shot where Grand Central Station will be, with MetLife on top of it. We have the Empire State Building here. We have the Chrysler Building, the Daily Bugle that I expanded. We'll have other really famous skyscrapers like One Vanderbilt, and I want to do the JP Morgan building. So this is gonna be like spot to be, pretty much. You have all these very famous locations all around you. Some I'm very excited to do right here in this huge space. So I've gotten lots of comments telling me to build Madison Square Garden. I did a video where I started on it. Unfortunately, that was before I had this new layout. So now I have this new layout and even more room. I'm gonna do a gigantic Madison Square Garden. I specifically wanted it right here. I guess technically it would probably be on this other side of me, on the other side of the Empire State Building. But I wanna do it here so that in this whole part, I can have a drop down section that actually has an interior. So I wanna do a basketball court with a Knicks game going on, and be able to switch it out to have like concerts going on. So I want to have like a functional Madison Square Garden. It's gonna be way more legit than what I was initially planning on, but it's gonna be awesome in this location. On the other side of this cutout area, this is probably most likely gonna be Chinatown, somewhere along this area. I'll have the New York Stock Exchange and Trinity Church somewhere in here. And then up here is where we have like the One World Trade Center. We have the Oculus and the 9/11 Memorial area. So there's lots of room here. I'm planning on doing a battery park all along the front of the city. I think it's gonna be really sweet. To the right of me here, where the crane is actually gonna be where the Woolworth building will go. So we'll have a lot of the very iconic skyscrapers like 40 Wall Street, the One World Trade Center, and Woolworth building all in this front part of the city, which is gonna be super cool. But there's a little bit of room off to the side here for other buildings. So if you have any ideas of maybe Marvel buildings or some less known real New York buildings, they could go somewhere in this front area. Something that might have caught your attention is right here, the Brooklyn Bridge. And I want to show it up close on this side because I'll actually have a way to get up and down off of the bridge here with this kind of freeway ramp exit. And I love the look of this. I have cars secured on here because it is at an angle. If you set them on there, they would just drop down. But I'm loving how this is looking. I built one of these like, I don't even know what you call these, but they have like the signs of where to exit and everything. I'll come to the other side and show you up close and tell you my plans for the Brooklyn Bridge. So I've done a few updates on Brooklyn Bridge, but it is very close to getting complete. The hard part about Brooklyn Bridge is I wanted to have a road underneath, but also the very iconic walking bridge where we have people who, you know, run every day, people perform up here. It's a really iconic spot in New York, so I had to have both. Here you can see you like can actually look down into the road. There's no cars in there yet, but I think when it's lit up and you have cars down here, people walking here, it's so long. And honestly, like I don't know if any of my other bridges will be like this big, but if I was gonna go all out for any bridge, it would make sense for it to be Brooklyn Bridge. I mean, it's like the most iconic New York bridge for sure. This one is really tricky because these pieces are real Lego and are attached on a string. So what I had to do and why it took me so long is to basically attach the string down here, slid like however 50 of these pieces on, then attach the string here, slid on like 100 more pieces, attach it there, and then did the last 50 bricks. So they're all kind of sitting on the string as one long continuous string, and that took forever to do. There are actually a few times where I was like dropping 50 bricks on that they just slipped all off, and I had to completely restart and dropped like hundreds of these bricks off the string at once. So that was really tedious to do, but I do love the look of this. And I think when I get around to doing the other iconic New York bridges, it'll probably have a similar look where it has the Lego at an angle like this, because I do think it looks pretty awesome. Very happy with Brooklyn Bridge. I do have lights in this, I just haven't hooked them up yet. But when this is lit up, I think it's gonna be really awesome. And being able to have cars and people on here is something I'm really glad I was able to pull off. There's not water here yet, so that's the next really big thing I have to do, is place down tons of these tiles in this whole area around Brooklyn Bridge, but then also down the whole side of the table pretty much, because it's gonna be river all along here. It's probably gonna be a while before I get all these tiles placed down, but I'm planning on going live and doing it live so I can talk to you guys while I do a super annoying, tedious thing. But it's definitely gonna make a difference when there's blue water all along this whole area, and I think it's gonna be really cool. It's actually like crazy how much room there is in the water, but it'll give me like lots of room to do tons of water details. I wanna have like things like this, like areas where they can load up boats. I wanna have like the shield helicarrier out in the water somewhere, cool Marvel stuff like that. I've thought about doing like a prison island, kind of like they have these Lego city sets where it's like a prison island. I think that could be sweet to have somewhere along the river here. So that should do it for our city update. I'm planning on doing way more of these. The city is just so much bigger than I ever thought it would be, and I have so many like random different projects to do inside of it that I think these videos are helpful to just show all of it at once and really show you how much work is going on and the state that the city's in. So getting the roads in was a really big deal, and I feel like you're kind of able to visualize like what the city's gonna look like now. There's so much room for new things. There's all the locations I talked about, but there's also just room for generic buildings. So if you have any ideas for any kind of New York building you want me to make, comment them down below, because there is so much room and I could pretty much build anything. So again, thank you so much for your support. Go check out my Etsy if you haven't already seen it. I sell lots of cool UV prints on there that are made with actual genuine Lego bricks, so you might find something you like. If you don't follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, go follow me on all of those. I post lots of like shorter city updates, but hopefully I'll be able to do more like this so I can really keep you guys up to date on everything that goes on in the city. But yeah, comment what you're most excited to see or any ideas you have for this gigantic project, and I'll see you in the next video.